Hey there, you're at the Binance Coin Wyckoff technical analysis session, and in the community post I shared that there will be schedule change coming because I've got a work schedule change. So today will be very busy because right now I'm going to cover the usual sessions, and then later in the day I'll cover those sessions that's according to the new schedule. So please have a look at the post and check out the new schedule. Let's get into Binance Coin. Here, this is the weekly chart, and last week we put in these tags saying, okay, so since is after a post upwards of the distribution, and we've seen the automatic reaction from that peak and found support at the blue level. The blue level is around 740, and as of now, it seems like this doji, this little pin over here or a cross, is signaling it's probably where the peak of the second test or the last point of supply is. We'll see how this is going to go, because it can happen in a way like this, ending with a cross this week. There's still over 6 days left. It's still too early to determine. As of this moment, the volume is very low. Last week was already half of what we had in like the last 3 weeks in July. So if the demand is really waning, then this may end up a red long candle down, but we don't know yet. So if it is maintaining the equilibrium position at this point, meaning the bulls and the bears are equal power, and maintain this for the entire week, then next week will be critical, because it has to find support above this top edge of the upward channel that's been established over this period, or else it has to come down back into the box and then find a new way to go up if you are seeking for the bullish side of things. However, if this is really the upthrust of the distribution according to Wyckoff, then eventually the price will die down and show us a sign of weakness. So we have put in all these tags already last week, so it's just a matter of time that these stages happen. So one example from the previous cycles, we see a UTAD over here that was back in 2021. We can still take a look at it, because what you can see here is after the peak there was a bit of decline and then rebound to a level at the similar height to the peak. Let me enlarge this so it's easier to see. So this is a little bit small. I've enlarged those recent ones. So this was the peak, and then after the UTAD peak, this drop was like the automatic reaction that I've put in our chart just now. And then after the automatic reaction, there's like a bounce almost to this light blue key level. So that's why when we look at the current stage, something similar is happening. So the red long candlestick came down, and then a rebound happened where the top of the rebound was almost as high as the upthrust level. Currently, we are not there yet. It's not too far from the 845 key level, but still, like, it would differ time to time, and so we don't, while we expect a rebound, we don't always know whether it's going to be exactly the same height or like 90% of the height of that. We just need to catch the rebound, and then if and when the price drops and touches our stop loss, then that's what we have, and that we should be happy about it. So here when the price really comes down, it has multiple supports to go through. We have talked about this top edge of the upward channel. That's the first point where the price would rebound a little. And then the second point would be this key level at around 740. That's the second point where we will see a more significant rebound. By significant, I mean it's not like tiny. At least we see some something like a little hill or peak. And then the third one would be the lower boundary of this upward channel, and eventually this light blue 675 level. So there are 4 levels or 4 resistance to go through, and that's where the sign of weakness may end up with. But this, when I put it here, that's the better scenario, because this has multiple LPSYs in the early stage over there supporting this level. However, if we look at the sign of weakness, the early sign of weakness over here, that's the green line 615 level. So it won't be surprising if the sign of weakness ended up over here at 615 range. So what would happen is, if it really comes down, of course it may not be that smooth, it can be, but let's assume it rebound at every support level, right? So, and eventually comes down to the sign of weakness, it may have a rebound, pop up all the way to the light blue or even above. It may do a few times before it eventually dies down. That can be a possible scenario. And how far it can drop, I would say a more critical level, or the most critical level, is this 480, this white line over here, because that's the top edge of the long-term playground zone over here. So this one is particularly important because before March 2024, most of the time Binance Coin was trading over here since 2021. But now it has established a time frame and a price level that's almost 60% of the time within this range. So let's take a look at here. From this point all the way to here, it was 1,100 days roughly. So almost you can consider that around 3 years. So 3 years time was where they have 90% of the time trading within this white box. But since March 2024 all the way to now, we are half of that time now. So basically we're 525 days into this new trading range, and 1,100 compared to now, so we've got 1/3 of the time basically. If we count from here all the way to where we're now, 1/3 of the time it's outside of the zone already. So there's a chance that this long-term playground zone has to be readjusted, because the principle of this should be that most of the time during that time frame, the trading, the price of the asset should be within this range, but it's not anymore. So there may be factors that pushed the bottom price up by quite significantly because of whatever's happening in the industry or the world's adoption to this particular asset. So that's why I say the top edge of the box is very important if the price really comes down, because if it comes down to that level and start a new accumulation cycle at this range, that means the long-term playground zone has changed, and rather than a flat horizontal box, there's a chance that in some assets you notice the box is going this way. So let me enlarge this. Now if I adjusted this long-term playground swing to something like this, you see it's like bracketing the most of the period of where the price has gone. So now it's covering like 90% really of Binance Coin's price movements. So along with time, we have to adjust our lenses to see the things clearly. So let me keep the box here for now, rather than well, probably let's do it this way. Since I already showed you this slanted box, I'll put it back to where it is, because this white line, the top edge of the box, is very important. We just need to observe it for maybe till year end and see whether the price really comes down and stays above this level. If it does, then I'll adjust the box. Right now, let's keep it there, just in case it re-enters this original long-term playground zone. I see the possibility of change, but before confirming, let's keep it as it is now, and just keep in mind there's that element of change here. And then one more thing is this upward trend box. So it was showing this short time frame, and then the price has gone outside over the past 4 weeks. So let me adjust a little to expand it to a longer time frame. So now what we're looking at is a bit different, right? So it's basically covering the period since the buying climax, or even before the buying climax, during the climb to the buying climax, the upthrust, the sign of weakness, both stages, like post buying climax sign of weakness and post upthrust sign of weakness, and all the way till now. So as of this moment, the price actions are or have been within this box since February last year. So if the price really comes down, an interesting thing is the bottom edge of this channel is crossing the green line. So remember I talked about like the better case for the sign of weakness post UTAD is this blue 675, but it can come down as low as 615 because of the sign of weakness back in February. So it's really interesting the channel is crossing here, because after a sign of weakness, there will be a little bit of rebound before it comes down to test the support levels again. So if it really comes down within the next few weeks, even if it tests this green line, it's still within this upward channel. However, if it goes in a way that the price comes down after October, that means it has to fall outside of this upward channel in order to test the green, and that's a different picture, because if it falls outside of the upward channel, that means the climb is likely over. So let me adjust a little, because I want to cover all the wicks, all the tip of the wicks. So that's where it is. The cross is actually now late December, so there's still a bit of time, even if the bulls and the bears fight for a longer while. So very long beginning, let's get to the daily. So the daily chart, last time we put in like second test or LPSY after this upthrust. So it's different between the daily and the weekly. So this one is only at the upthrust stage. So if in the weekly it's really coming down, then that means that after the upthrust in the daily, it's going to eventually die down, and we have this upward trend line that we're tracking, and also this blue key level over here, just the same as the one we've seen in the weekly chart. So eventually, if it dies down, it's not a surprise, and obviously you already learned that there would be, or likely be, a sign of weakness. First would be around the automatic reaction level, that means this blue horizontal line at around 740, or if it really comes down to the point where the buying climax was around, or this little consolidation period in the middle, this one I'm talking about. If that's the case, that means the sign of weakness will end up near the light blue line instead of the one above, the blue line above. So this is the range where the sign of weakness would end. So I'll put the tag here and see whether it will happen in the next few days, because in the daily chart things can happen very quickly. In a matter of a day, one stage in the Wyckoff can happen within the daily time frame. So remember, these are two different time windows, the weekly and the daily. So let's expect some downward actions. I just want to quickly check the Bollinger Band and Curtain Squeeze. Currently there's no squeeze at the moment. By means of a squeeze, if you're new to this indicator, that means the orange line and the purple lines are coming very close together, and most of the time the purple would get into the orange. When that happens, there's a likely chance for a bigger price movements it will show up. So it can be either upward or downward. So that's what the squeeze indication is about. So as of now, the bottom edge is the purple has entered the orange, the top edge is getting closer. So in a few days time, maybe a squeeze will happen. We're not seeing it right now, but it will eventually happen if there's no more crazy price swing. So between now and the next session, be cautious about what's coming, and just set your stop loss and observe these key levels I already shared. Trade safe.